Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly. In the Weekdays with Bernie segment tonight, there are two themes developing among pundits in the debt debate. On the right, it is that the Obama administration and the Democrats are simply bankrupting the country. And on the left, the new spin is that Republicans are extorting the country.
It's like a form of economic terrorism. I imagine these Tea Party guys are like strapped with dynamite, standing in the middle of Times Square at rush hour and saying either you do it my way or we're going to blow you up, ourselves up, and the whole country up with us. So you tell me how those kinds of standoffs end.
They've strapped explosives to the Capitol, and they think they are immune from it. The Tea Party caucus wants this crisis.
Well, the GOP has become the Wahhabis of American government, willing to risk bringing down the whole country in the service of their anti-tax ideology.
The Wahhabis. Joining us now from North Carolina analyzer, purveyor, BernardGoldberg.com, Mr. Goldberg. So they're strapping explosives to their Wahhabiist chests.
You know what's funny about this, Bill? There is one thing I think that's funny about it.
What?
These are people who don't call real terrorists terrorists.
That's right. They refuse to identify terrorists. They're just misguided people.
That's right. Right. They're misguided. They didn't mean it when they shot up the Army base. It was an accident. Right. Okay. But beyond that, I see two storylines that have developed. One, mainly from liberal commentators, is that Barack Obama is a weak president, that he's letting the Tea Party Republicans in the House push him around, that they thought they were helping to elect a real progressive liberal, and he's not liberal enough for them, as crazy as that is. But the second storyline has to do strictly with the Tea Party, and you played a couple of those things. I want to make clear, I'm not here to defend the strategy or the tactics of the Tea Party. I'm not taking a position on that. But if you're a journalist, you could portray them either as principled patriots who care about their country or dangerous, scary, stupid wackos. And a lot of the liberals have portrayed them as the latter. I want to give you just a few specifics. Tina Brown, editor-in-chief of Newsweek, said they were suicide bombers. Tom Friedman, New York Times, compared them to Hezbollah. Peter Goodman of the Huffington Post said they're acting like terrorists. William Yeomans on Politico, he teaches law, said the Tea Party faction in the House has now become full-blown terrorists. Fareed Zakaria, you played this in the beginning, said they want to blow up the country. Paul Krugman, they want to blow up the economy. Even David Brooks, the only kind of conservative they're happy with at the New York Times, said they have no sense of moral decency. And today, the Vice President of the United States said they're acting like terrorists. Earlier this year, Bill, the President of the United States said we should all tone it down after the Tucson massacre. Apparently, his own vice president, who was throwing the word terrorist around, and his most loyal base in the media never got that memo.
Well, it's ironic because Gabrielle Giffords, of course, you may have heard, showed up to vote in favor of the compromise today. And you're right. I mean, look, but I don't take, maybe I'm wrong here, Bernie, but I don't take the metaphor that the far left is using in any kind of a violent capacity. I don't. But what is amusing to me is that some of the people that we heard and we've discussed are so radical in their thinking, so radical that the fact that they would call the Tea Party reactionaries and crazy people, when look at Krugman, and we pointed out his talking point memo. Here's a guy who's demanding more trillions of dollars to be spent by the federal government when we're already 14.5 trillion in debt. He wants more. All right.
And have you noticed, Bill, have you noticed that the sound bites that you played and the ones that I read, they represent the administration's position on these things.
But who's crazier? I mean, if you step back and you're a man from Mars and you just come down and you look at the Tea Party and the Tea Party say, you know what? We don't want any more spending. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
We've had it. And then you look at these guys going, we want trillions more and we don't really care that the country's 14.5 billion in debt. So who's crazier?
But even if you accept that that's an arguable position, the other side aren't terrorists, whether you mean it in a violent way or not. To compare them to suicide bombers and strapping themselves with dynamite and blowing up, that's just wrong. And I think they're doing it because it doesn't work anymore when they call conservative Republicans racists. You know, if you're a racist,
so they have
if
to
you're
up it to terrorists. What's next? So racist, terrorists, what's next?
No, that's
mass
that's
murderers.
a great question.
Right. Oh, I guess terrorists are mass murderers. So
Could be.
I don't know.
No, I mean, I think everybody realizes that calling people racist is a waste of time. Nobody buys it anymore. If you're a racist because you're against Obamacare and the stimulus and the worldwide apology tour, if that makes you a racist, what do you call the skinheads who are really racist? Well, it's passé.
Yeah,
Nobody
so then now
is accepting
but I don't think anybody's
so
buying
they kicked it up.
Right.
So they kicked it up. Now it's terrorist. By the way, these people don't have an ounce of originality among them. One person says terrorist, and they all jump on. Yeah, terrorist.
That's right.
So one person says, they're blowing up the economy. Yeah, blowing up. I mean, it just takes one person, and it's like birds on a telephone wire.
Yeah, they are.
One bird lands, they all land. One bird takes off, they all take off.
All right, Bernie, thanks very much as always, and we would like you